So I'm actually staying on stage right now. I'm about to be joined by, obviously I like all the brands. I've loved meeting everyone through this process, but Salvatore is super great. And we're going to hear why, because he's extremely open and humble. Welcome to the stage, Salvatore from Vivo Life.
Hello, hi there.
Grab this seat.
Is that on now? Can you hear me clearly, can you?
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Not too bad, thank you.
Brilliant. So, Vivo Life, do you want to tell us a bit about the brand, which is a brand you started yourself from home? How long ago? And tell us about the products you've created and what you do.
Yes, so we create natural plant-based health supplements. So it's,
mic a bit closer, yeah.
So it started 2014. It's previously, I transformed my own health. I was very depressed, anxiety. I got into mindset, realized I could change, got me into meditation, affirmations, but that only took me so far because I was drunk on junk food. I was still anxiety, disorientated. When I realized what I mean by drunk on junk food is the food I was eating was having a physiological effect on me, just like when we drink alcohol, we know it affects our mood and us physiologically. This is exactly the same for every little bit of food we eat. 15 odd years ago, I didn't even draw a correlation between food and how I felt. When I was able to see that correlation, I was able to start to look at the food I was eating, and bit by bit I was able to wade through a lot of misinformation. So a lot of misinformation 15 years ago. Normally information is created by companies that have a lot of money to spend on information. It normally has a bit of bias. But when you wade through and bit by bit you start to feel better, bit by bit my energy lifted, and then that got me into, I started to feel better. When I started to feel better, I had all this extra energy, which got me into sports and fitness, which then I thought, sky's the limit, and it still is that way of thinking now. I got into supplements, I wanted to optimize and carry on to optimize, but the problem is I started to realize after thousands and thousands of pounds of spending on supplements that a lot of the supplements were full of false promises. 80% of them were full of fillers, etc. But, there was select few brands that, 20% of brands really trying their best with the information technology they have today. And I just thought, coming from an entrepreneurial family and having all this extra energy, wouldn't it be good to put all these brands on one site to save other people time and get right to the good stuff? And that was sort of how Vivo Life started. But what we found is retailing other brands, the margin was 30%. The average order value was £30. I only found this out after because I started out passion. I didn't even know what a KPI was, but I soon realised when I was losing 20 grand a month that I had to go to seminars. I started to learn KPIs and stuff. But yeah, I started to find out that £30 average order value. There's only a 30% margin in there. The cost to acquire a customer is 30 quid. So if you're spending 30 quid to acquire a customer and they only spend 30 quid with you, they don't come back because they spend it on Amazon because it's another person's brand, then it doesn't really work. So it kind of pushed us forward to make our own product. And then when we made our own product, that was when it all changed. 15 years experience of looking at other brands, we almost became connoisseurs. And I was able to see, what other people can't see in a supplement, and was able to create something superior. We chose protein powder because that was our most popular product. We made it better, and then that was when it all changed, and we went from a £5 grand a month business to now £1 million a month. But the main shift was really knowing my KPIs and knowing sorry, that was long. I answered that question quite long, didn't I?
So that's brilliant. So basically, you've gone from 0 to 10 million, and now you're on a journey taking the business from 10 to 20 million in revenue. Let's talk about some of the learnings around KPIs, because we discussed those when we've been discussing preparing for this. And you said there was a point where you got to and you realised this was with your own products, right? This wasn't when you were doing the other products. It was knowing your KPIs. You said you were running around like a headless chicken before you had KPIs. Do you want to just share some of your learnings about that and what the KPIs are that you've put in place?
Before I knew about KPIs, I was, like you say, just a kind of a busy fool, trying everything. Didn't really know what was working. But what I found was when I was able to simplify the business, and at the time, because I was mainly focused on marketing, it was literally traffic, the number of traffic to the website, conversions, average order value, the cost or CPA, cost per acquisition, and lifetime value. Suddenly, all that complexity turned into 5 levers, and then all I would focus on week was optimizing those 5 levers. So if I increased traffic by 10%, if everything stayed the same, my revenue would go up by 10%. If I increased my average order value by 10%, then my revenue would go up by 10%. And week on week, I'll just obsessively look at that, not just, globally, but every channel I was playing on, so whether it's Facebook, Instagram. And then what you'll find is you'll start to see sort of trends, and you'll start to see what's working, and you'll start to see the cause and effect of your behavior, and bit by bit you just optimize and optimize. Then the main place I end up looking at is the cost to acquire a customer. Once I know that's affordable, I scale. To know it is affordable, I found out that I can spend 20% of our revenue on marketing. So if I can spend 20% of my revenue on marketing, then what I need to work out is how much can I spend per customer. So I need to know the customer value. If I need to make profit on the first order, I would work out 20% of that order value. At the time it was 60 quid, so if I can spend 20% of that, it's like 12 quid. 4 years ago you could acquire customers at 12 quid. It's a different story now, so now I got to look at like a 3-month customer value. And I sort of, once I had that customer value, that was when, once I knew I had my right CPA right, that was when I was able to scale it. But yeah, having the KPIs allowed me to simplify all that complexity.
And another thing that really helped you was bringing in people. So you talked about the stages of growth that the business has been through, and how you feel it grows to a certain level, then you almost have to rebuild it again, and particularly the value of bringing in people who are smarter and brighter than you to help with certain aspects of the business.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people you've brought in, and how have they really helped?
Yeah, so one is like a financial director. Like financials is a massive subject. They say if you're getting into business, the language of business is accounting and financial. It's like if you want to be a great web developer, you've got to learn HTML. If not, you're not getting too far. And so it's the same with business. It's like you need to learn financials, and the problem is it's a massive subject and people underestimate it. Plus people don't find it too sexy. But like how we kind of see it is in business, they sort of say, everyone wants a 6-pack, but no one wants to put down the donuts or do the push-ups. And sort of with business, the financial bit's not the sexy bit, but that's putting down the donuts, and it's sort of doing the push-ups. And what I found is I got so far of my knowledge, but bringing on a financial director who's got 20 years of knowledge and who's built businesses doing, £2 million a month profitably, when that skill set came on board, I went from loss making to profit making, and the only time I actually now don't make profit is when I don't listen to that person. So I find if you bring smarter people on, because each area of your business becomes very complex. When you start off, you can do a lot of things on your own. You can set up a Shopify store, get a template off Theme Forest for 50 quid. You can do a Facebook course, you can do a Facebook ad. But as you get bigger, each subject becomes very specialist. And so what I find is then you become distracted, and you need to remember what, you're good at. And for me, it was like, 15 years of obsessing about supplements and health and making great products and of creating a brand that truly wants to make people healthy, not mislead people. So what I found is as you grow, to stop you getting caught in subjects like, we're not the best tech company, we're not the best marketing company, we're not the best logistics company. But what we think we can be the best in the world at is making great plant-based health supplements, and also truly wanting to help people improve their health. If we could measure people's health and see it improving, we would like to do that. But so what happens is if you don't get smarter people on, or partner with agencies or partners that know this subject 100 times better than you do, then you'll end up being distracted, and you'll get lost.